Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today I'm going to be taking a look at the Warbotron WB01-B Heavy Noisy. This is their version of Brawl from the Combaticons that form Bruticus, and I've already done the review for Airburst, so if you want to check that video out, the link will be in the description below. That is the not blast off. So taking a look at the box, it has a very nice outer sleeve. As you can see, it's just the sleeve that goes around the actual box. So we have the nice artwork of Heavy Noisy there and Warbotron itself. And then on the back we have this kind of cartoon looking image, which I'll show off in the combiner review, because you put all these boxes together and then it makes one big image. And then here is the actual box itself. Now the figure is not inside it right now, and that is simply because this is the second time that I'm actually doing this startup, because I've actually had a new mic since I did the packaging segment for this, so I figured I'd just redo this as well. So you should notice a difference between this and the blast off video. So I might do an actual microphone video, but that will be to come. So as you can see, it says ages 15 plus there, it says WB01B set right there, and Heavy Noisy. And then the actual design for the box is the same for all of the figures. They just have, their own specific artwork on there. We have the nice artwork on the back, along with some writing down there for the the website and the email and everything for Warbotron themselves. And then on the side here we have some more specs. So seeing as I've already opened this thing, let's take a look at what was in the box. So first out of the box we have the nice thick collector card, which is very, very nice and shiny and thick. On the back here we have some specs and whatnot, so that's very nice. And then here we have the comic, which also doubles as the instructions. So we have the nice artwork on the front, the same on the back but just not in colour. And at the back we have the instructions, and then at the front we have the comic. Now I've noticed that within these comics it is kind of Chinglish. It's just grammar that you'd expect from a little kid, basically. Just the way that sentences are written down and whatnot, like what happened as opposed to what happened and stuff like that. Just little tiny things. But for the most part, it's they're fun little things to read, and it's nice to be included with the figure. And here is Heavy Noisy, or Brawl, out of the packaging. Now, Brawl is probably my favourite Decepticon, but that doesn't mean that I'm any more biased to this figure than I normally would be. For the most part, I do feel that quality control is better than the Airburst figure, but we'll get into that a little bit more when we take a closer look at the figure itself. First thing I just want to mention is that it comes with a little bag with 4 pieces in it. 2 of these and 2 of these, and as you can see here, these bits here are not filled in, these bits are. Now, there's screws under there. You don't need to access them, but I'm guessing that they just thought, in case you would need to access them for any reason, it's the shoulder part, then you have the ability to, whereas if they just put those on and filled them in for you, you don't have the ability to get to them. So it's nice that they did that, I guess, but for the most part I don't see any reason why you would need to, unless when you get it it's just loose for some reason. But mine isn't, so I'm just going to go ahead and put these in like I did with the other side. They just sit in like so, they don't go all the way in. So as for the rest of the figure then, like I said about the quality control, it is mostly better. With the Airburst figure, there was actually a lot of like sprue marks and whatnot, and some sloppy paint jobs and what on there, but for the most part this figure is pretty good. Now on mine, this section right here is raised, but it's just the way that it is on the hinge. But that is the only, it's not even a problem. In leg mode it's going to be like that, so you're not going to see it and whatnot. So yeah, for the most part I really, really do think that they have massively improved, but this is just from one figure to the next, so we'll see if that continues to flow throughout the rest of the wave. So we have the weapons on the top of the turret here, which can be removed. They are just the pistols for robot mode. I'm going to take those off right here, and there is a bit of a closer look. They look pretty nice right there. I really do like how they've got the sprayed on silver for the turret, so it kind of fades as it goes down. That's pretty nice. And then up here, this is really meant for robot mode, but you can flip up that little target there if you wish. I think that looks pretty nice. This turret does rotate on the top, and depending on how far you have it plugged down, depends on how much it'll rub on everything else. If you just pull it up a little bit, so you will have a bit of a gap in there, you can turn it around a lot easier. It does not have moving treads or wheels or anything like that. It is just solid plastic underneath, and it is nice and filled in and whatnot. There's not any hollow parts and whatnot, so that's very, very nice. There's not as much of a weight to this figure as there was to Airburst. In vehicle mode, it is a smaller mode, but in robot mode they are the same size, but Airburst does have more mass to it. So overall, this tank is basically the actual vehicle part to it is about the size of a large car deluxe, and then you've got the turret on there, which obviously makes it a bit longer. But for the most part, it doesn't have the same mass that Airburst does. So as for the transformation, I'm going to actually just show you the leg mode first, because it's the easiest to get to, because as a leg, it's basically just the tank. So what we do is we fold up the tank turret, and then this front section of the tank actually just flips down like so, and then it just reveals the connector port. The foot is going to go inside here, so you just split the legs apart and put the foot in and clip them back together. And then just like this, if I just bring the camera up a little bit so you can see it all, basically that will be the leg mode for Brawl with a massive foot underneath. So as for the robot mode transformation, following on from that, if I can get this thing pulled off here, that'd be very nice. You can't transform it with this on, but you can put this back on the back of the figure once you are done, if you wish, and I'll show you that later. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this section back up like so. What we're going to do first is we're going to take out these black tank treads, and then they just fold up onto the side like so. And then this black section that's right here, that's tabbed in with the holes that you can see there and there. And we're just going to bring that up halfway like so. Then what we're going to do is grab half and half and open it up like that so that the hands come free. As you can see, the legs are moved down and this is moved down. In the instructions, it basically tells you to bring the legs straight up and then put the arms in, but you'll find that they're just hitting against it like so. So you really do have to pull this back and really be careful when you are putting those in there. But apart from that, it's a very, very simple transformation, and that wasn't exactly the hardest thing to do in the world, was it? So this thing just rotates all the way forward until it gets to that point like so. We can lift the head up, and then this black section is going to come in and push against that, and it's going to stop that from being able to fold back down. And then down here we're going to lift these sections up. They are going to be the feet, and we're going to split these apart, and we can rotate them all the way around like so, and then they can flip all the way down as well. As you can see, there is a cutout here so that when the leg is straight, it will actually line up with the knee, not allowing this to move, and then if you move it past the knee, this can rotate. So if you're standing up straight, that will actually be in the correct position right there. So we're just going to go ahead and do the same with the other side. Make sure that these heels are flipped out, and then these green sections just come down and fill in the back of the leg, and that is those done. And then coming up to the top here, you just simply rotate these down, and then you can just bring them out a little bit. The arms extend. And then one more thing is that you can actually just pull these grey pieces down. They just act as more support for the heels. And then that is Brawl, fully transformed and in robot mode. So during that transformation, as you could see, it was very simple, very easy. It is nice and involving, so it's not like it's just like really, really simple and not worthy enough of a third-party transformer price tag or something. It's G1-esque. It's kind of a more simple transformer in the way of a third-party figure, so it's going to have a bit more of a simple transformation. But yeah, it's incredibly nice, very fun to do. It is a little bit easier than Airbursts. But that's good because it actually makes you want to transform this guy often. So one thing during that transformation that you saw me do was extend the arms. Now what I definitely recommend that you do is that you need to undo these screws by about half to maybe a full turn. Basically just until the arms can extend just as easily as this, where they're nice and tight so they're not going to move, but they are easy to do. Because seriously, getting one of them undone, I think it was this side, That thing just would not budge. It took me like, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes just really tugging on that thing, trying not to break it and trying not to put, any pressure on this hinge piece or like rip the hand off or something, or, damage the hinge that's in here or anything. It was just stuck as hell after I'd, pushed it back in. This one wasn't as tight, but it was very tight. So basically, undoing that screws, as you can see, there's a seam down the middle here. It just brings the parts apart just enough so that it isn't clamped down on that elbow joint, so you can actually extend it. I definitely recommend that you do that, as opposed to possibly breaking your figure somewhere down the line. It will definitely make the transformation of this figure a lot more enjoyable overall. So, like I said, this piece can go on the back, so whether you have it, folded up like that or just straight up, you can get a bit more of a G1 look from this Brawl by just plugging it straight back into where it was. Obviously that hangs down a little bit, but I like the look of that. He's a tank, so that's very nice. And then obviously you have that bit right there sticking out the top, and it just looks a bit more like a G1 Brawl. Personally, with this figure, I do like the kind of sleekness of having it like this. I think that looks pretty cool, especially when you have him posed and whatnot, with these guns right here. Now, this can actually split into two separate pieces. If I can just get this unpegged here, there we go. This piece, obviously, you could keep these guns attached there or whatever. And what this will do is attach to the black section on the arm, like so, and basically create a shield, and you can go ahead and put the guns on there. But it's quite hard to use the articulation in the arm. As you can see, it covers up the elbow and everything there, to get it in a really nice position for firing, apart from just bringing it up like so. And then this piece, what you can do is, if I straighten the turret back out, these flip down, and then these go up, and then you bring up the target. That's why I said it was, a bit more designed for robot mode right here. And then you flip this piece down, that becomes the handle. And I guess you could probably use this for Bruticus. I'm not really sure just how the Warbotron's hands are at holding things right now. I don't know if it's going to be a peg or whatnot, but, he holds it very well in the hand. But then you can't really turn the elbow because it's sitting right up against the shoulder there, so you have to just bring it all the way out. And it would be nice to hold it with two hands, but you can't really do it too well. So whilst the gun looks good, both the gun and the shield aren't super practical in this form. So I really do like them. I love the idea that it's not just a cannon that's just going to be stuck on the back, that you can actually do something with it. However, it's not massively practical. Now, we do actually have two hole pegs on here, so just like a lot of G1 Transformers, you can actually put the guns on the shoulders if you wish, if you wanted somewhere to store them whilst he's holding the other accessories. But for the most part, I just like him holding just one of these guns. I just think that looks really, really nice in G1 and really cool. And like I said, I really do like this kind of sleek form of Brawl. But if I were to put him on the shelf, I would, in this form, I would want to include these pieces so they don't just go back in their box. So I would actually put those on the back and have a bit more of a G1-esque looking Brawl. But for the most part, I really, really do love the look of this guy. As you can see, that light piping is fantastic, just like Airburst. It's just the entire back of his head. It's a really nice yellow, bright colour. And then, as you can see, as soon as I cover it up, and there's not even a light shining behind it. That's just it reflecting off the backdrop and coming back. So that's absolutely fantastic light piping. That works in any form of light. So as for the articulation then, the head is on a ball joint, so it can move up, down, left and right and side to side. If you want to include the transformation as articulation, then you can look even further up. The shoulders move out like so, and they also rotate at that joint too. We have a rotation at the upper part of the arm right there, double jointed arms which actually only move about 90 degrees. The wrists can rotate, the hands can also open a little bit right there. We have a waist swivel, the legs can move all the way out like so, and they can go forward and back. We have a rotation at the thigh, we have a single jointed knee which moves very, very well, and then at the feet here we have this segment here that actually moves, kind of acts as your ankle pivot, and then I guess you can say that the toe moves down, but it doesn't really do anything. And then you have the ankle pieces that also can support your figure too. And as a size comparison, Heavy Noisy stands about 7 inches to the top of the head, so as you can see he stands the same size as Airburst, and basically, you know, that is about Voyager size, but they've got a good heft to them. Airburst does weigh a little bit more. I know Brawl doesn't look as bulky as Airburst right there, but that's, like I said, because I don't have him holding the gun and the shield, or at least having them on his back. He does look, you know, he does fit in a lot more with the team when you've got that stuff on him. So yeah, they look very, very good together. Like I said, there is a link in the description to the review of this guy. I have already done that. And I would definitely recommend these figures. They're just amazing. The articulation is great. The plastic quality is really, really good. They don't feel light. They don't feel like they're going to break. They're just really, really awesome Transformers. And like I said, there's no sloppy paint on my version of Heavy Noisy over here like there was on my Airburst. There's also not as many like just really visible signs of where the parts came off the sprues and whatnot. So overall, it does seem like the quality control is getting better and better with these figures as they were released. And if you're a fan of the Combaticons, I definitely recommend that you pick these things up. Next up we have Sly Strike, which is their version of Swindle, which is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you want to see more pictures of anything from my collection, including these guys when they're all together and when they're vehicle mode, robot modes, and obviously the combiner itself, and lots of other Transformers in my collection, then go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Homerino123 for both. Links are in the description below. And to stay tuned for more videos, go ahead and subscribe. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.